Hey, what is going on YouTube, and welcome to a new type of content that will be featured a lot in the coming future. As you know, Modern Warfare 2 will be released on October 28th, and I plan on putting out weekly content for it. So make sure to let me know what you want to see. Anything, competitive, coaching, pub stomping, how to get better, settings, Warzone 2, I mean anything. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into what I like about the game, and let me tell you, it's quite fun most of the time. First off, the return of the dolphin dive. To me, it adds another level of evasive movement that is less likely to be abused in every engagement. Plus, it's hilarious to see someone flying through the air. Its return brings me way more joy than I ever thought it would. I actually spent a solid 2.5 hours literally just dolphin diving around the map in pubs the other night, and I had a wonderful time. Didn't even shoot my gun, just soared. Second, the gunplay itself feels extremely nice. The guns are fun to shoot, require some degree of skill, and level up really fast, which is nice considering the shenanigans you have to go through to unlock a weapon. Third, map design. The return of 3-lane maps makes the game so much more enjoyable and smooth for playability. There's no longer roundabout ways of getting about the map, which leads to a more action-packed match each and every time you load in. On most maps. I personally hated Hotel, but my friends swear Museum is the worst map available in the beta. Now that we've gone over what I think is great about the game, let's go over what I think needs to change. As a disclaimer, I come from a competitive background, so this is mostly geared towards that. The pubs will likely benefit from most of these changes too, because it will simply lead to a more fair and balanced game. First and foremost is footstep audio. Walking is literally so loud you can hear someone coming a solid 15 seconds before they arrive. This means pubs are far more campy than they need to be, and competitive is basically whoever can pre-fire better. Secondly is the minimap. Now, IW claims they don't want to punish you for shooting your gun, and it leads to a player being hunted. My response to that is, isn't that kind of the point? Call of Duty is an arena shooter that's supposed to be fast-paced, but the lack of a location to head to leaves the game slow and without purpose. Sure, it's better in objective game modes, but things like Team Deathmatch are literally a camp fest and pointless, as you don't know where to go unless you want to crank the volume and listen to people walk around. Third is time to kill. This game is really slow-paced, and the time to kill is wildly inconsistent. Sometimes it feels right, and other times you just get 1 or 2 tapped. This is mostly due to the headshot multiplier, but a possible fix for this, at least for competitive, is for them to add a toggle within the settings to disable the multiplier, and the game will likely be much more consistent. Whether IW decides to do this is rather up in the air, but one can hope. Fourth, the Dead Silence field upgrade. They gutted the Dead Silent perk that has been a staple of the competitive community for years in Modern Warfare by making it a field upgrade. This time around, they gutted it further by requiring a slow animation before activation that will likely lead to your death, as well as a heinously loud beeping noise for the other team that not only alerts them to your location, actively defeating the purpose of the upgrade, but makes you an easy target as they now know that you can't aim your gun for the next few seconds. Yay, free kills. Additionally, there's this aura that surrounds a player using it. I guess it's supposed to show your team that someone is using Deddy, but if you're paying attention, you'll see the aura before the player, so get to pre-firing. Fifth, the smoke effect. This issue comes up in 2 different scenarios. The first is whenever you use equipment that explodes, grenades, Semtex, stuns, flashes, etc. They will all leave a fine dust floating in the air. For stuns and flashes, it doesn't really matter because, flashes you won't be able to see anyways, and stuns you can't turn, so, no reacting. But for the rest, the dust kinda hinders the line of sight, and I find it extremely unnecessary. Sure, it adds to the realism of the game, but it takes away from the enjoyment. The second is when firing your gun. I personally am slightly challenged in the vision category and can't see very well, so the addition of smoke particles coming out of the barrel of my gun when I'm firing literally makes it impossible for me to track my target. They just disappear. They go up in a puff of smoke. Now, there is something you can change in the settings that sort of fixes it called first-person camera movement, but it's a minimal help. 6. Enemy name tags. This ties directly into the smoke effect. If they want to keep it, cool, but give me a name tag so I can see what I'm shooting at. Half the time you can't tell if someone is dead or just laying down because there's no designation that you're staring at a person, and not some pile of rubbish that was placed along a wall to make the map more immersive. Secondly, there's little dots that go over your teammate's head, not the enemy's, and those appear through the entire map. So sometimes an enemy lines up with your teammate and you're left wondering how someone acquired friendly fire in a non-hardcore match. 7. Streaks. Now, I didn't test all of them, but I do find that a majority of the streaks leave me wanting. The wheelsin is difficult to steer, particularly since the buttons I typically use to shoot become the acceleration and deceleration, and when you're not controlling it, it simply sits there. There's no roaming around the map, so it's just a less effective sentry, which is in the game in the first place, so just use that. The chopper gunner can't move, which makes it actually useless on certain maps such as Museum, where building blocks your whole line of sight. Congrats on your streak. Enjoy staring at a roof until you get bored and give up. Next is the VTOL, which feels great, but why does it crash into the map when you destroy it? And an even better question, why can it kill? Lastly, because of the lack of red dots on the minimap, the UAV is the single greatest perk in the game, or streak in the game, and it's also the first one you can acquire. Make of that what you will. Number 8, the perk system. Who decided that perks need to charge over the length of the game? I actually don't know what inspired this change, but they need to undo it and fast. They've created this ultimate perk system which includes ghosts, and you can't earn it until the match is almost over, or not at all in Search and Destroy. So it means the first team who earns a UAV gets to steamroll you until it either goes away or you get your own against all odds. Number 9, the Gunsmith. Honestly, I don't know why they decided to make this change, but it's initially extremely confusing, and I found myself having to use weapons that I didn't like nor did I enjoy in order to unlock a single SMG. Like, I had to play the game for a solid 2 hours before there was a sub available to me, and I kind of think that's stupid. Plus, this is probably going to get fixed, but I ran into a bug where I had fully leveled up the M4, which is the first gun that's available to you, and no other gun unlocked, so I was just stuck with it. Lastly, number 10, the spawns. I leave this one at the end because Infinity Ward loves to use the squad spawn system, which is inherently bad in my opinion because it often leads to immediate death off spawn, as well as making it so more knowledgeable individuals who know how to read the kill feed can easily trap you in a single location for the entirety of the game. Now, I don't expect this to change, but I do think IW needs to change the initial spawn locations on certain maps. In particular, Mercado de Almas in the hardpoint game mode has you in a gunfight within the first few seconds of the match. Like 5 seconds and you can see the entire enemy team. Now that that's done, let me say I think the game's core is great and could be a wonderful way to spend my time for the next 2 years until Microsoft-owned COD drops, but these few design choices leave me wanting. If you think I missed something, let me know in the comments below and I'd be happy to discuss. As always, here's the shameless plug. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already because it helps me a lot. See you guys later in October for a campaign playthrough and much more Modern Warfare 2 content.